So we have two identical recoveries, one right next to each other, but this is a Toyota RAV4 and this is a Toyota Vienza, whatever. But do you see the similarities other than the bumpers off here? Look at the frame right here. Look at the structure. This one is ripped off right here, so you don't see this little support, but pay close attention. Look at the body structure. Okay, keep your eyes on that. Now look at the RAV4. Exact same thing. This is the part that's ripped off right here that you've seen on the other one. So you got the same chassis in the front here and everything like that. Basically it's the same car with different names on it. The difference is on this one, this one. Okay, so here's the hybrid. I think that might be the hybrid too. What do you see right here? That's your plate heat exchanger. That right there is a plate heat exchanger that has your glycol going through it. And if you follow it up, you'd see it goes through this inverter right here and it comes back out again. So you have a path in and you have a path out. Now if we follow this right here, and you can see the hose shaking over there, we follow it down, see it shaking right there. It's coming up. It's going through its little heat exchanger. We have our path of coolant coming. It's coming over here. Now I'm not sure which way it goes. Not important, except for sucking air if you get it wrong. And I'm gonna assume, hey, we always know what happens when you assume. But here's our electric water pump. And if we go up, we see here's at the very bottom right here. It's coming out of the pump and going here. So you would not think that you would be pushing that way because you don't want to suck air, because there's our other hose going into the coolant reservoir at the top. You would not want to suck at the top, because if you got just a little bit low on coolant, you would start sucking air, and you wouldn't want to suck air. And oh, that just powered off. So of course the inlet would be the one at the bottom. So we could say the flow goes from the bottom of the reservoir into the pump, out of the pump, gets cooled off right here, comes down, goes into the inverter, picks up heat from all the electronics, comes out. Let's see if I got that right. And do we have an expansion device on the bottom of that? No, we don't. We just have a plate heat exchanger, and there is no other. Oh yes, we do. We are also cooling or heating another device here. So if you look right here, this hose clamp, this black hose, this little metal line, this metal line is going in the back side of that plate heat exchanger. And so that metal line is also responsible for, looks like it's going to the transaxle. So we're also either heating or cooling or keeping at some equilibrium a certain, so it doesn't overcool tranny fluid. And that is located, if I could get my hand in there, right here, this rubber hose going into the transaxle. So we're heating or cooling or keeping at a moderately, not too hot, not too cold. So if you're in cold climate, it doesn't get overcooled, and if you're in a really hot climate, it can't get hotter than whatever the temperature of the glycol is. So it's serving two purposes. We're doing the glycol through the electronics, cooling off the electronics inside the inverter, and we also look like we have the transaxle fluid down there. That could be going for probably maybe even the electric motor inside there. And that is the loop going there, and if we follow it, it goes down. So here's the upper one coming in from the electronics into the top of the plate heat exchanger. This is the other line going out where my finger is touching the hose clamp. It goes down and we follow it, and there's actually a pepcock, a drain relief at the very bottom of the hose, so you could drain the system. It keeps coming over and it goes up into the top of the coolant reservoir. So this is all tied together for that loop going there on your plate heat exchanger, going through this top heat exchanger right here. It looks like on this one they don't actually use the air conditioning because I don't see a expansion device anywhere, but I could see the guys who thank God they have clear reservoirs and they keep them up where it's seen, because too many times in body shops I see guys drain a radiator, but sometimes they're guys who just disassemble. They're not responsible for reassembling and they really don't know much. They accidentally, or sometimes they drain the inverter, and if they don't see the inverter tank, they refill the radiator, but they never refill the inverter tank. And sometimes, you know, the inverter tanks are hidden farther back and you can't see the level of the coolant, especially if they're not opaque, you know, they're a darker color. I've seen many body shops send a car out with no inverter fluid inside of them because they just kind of don't catch that kind of thing. The guys aren't really trained up on that kind of stuff. And we do have the Toyota with the little clip here that causes body shops so many problems. I do see a bit of oil residue here, so we do have that little issue going on there. Don't know if it's from assembly lube. I've been keeping an eye on this because we don't want a recall, or where there'll be a TSB. They won't recall it, but they might do what Honda did, is if they do have problems with leakage, if it's too many of them and people complain, it'll be something they'll put on an extended warranty program and just hope people don't catch it. So that's this one here. This front end's coming off, so because they got to replace this whole rail and everything like that, and all this is getting replaced. So the whole radiator and all the heat exchangers have to come off on this one. And this one's really obvious. Now look how hard of a hit this one took, and it's not leaking. Look at those tubes. There's no leak there. Take a really close look. There's absolutely no leakage from that. I have a full system. And we're down into the micron level. I took it all through the... And I hit the wrong thing and made a little hiss. There we go. All right. So that's all I wanted to go on that is, and here's the other one. Here's the RAD4. There's the same coolant bottle. There's the pump for the coolant going to exchanger. This one has a leak in it, and its leak, where would its leak be? Here's the exchanger. I don't see no moisture here, but yet the reservoir is empty. Underneath, oh, they drained it already. I didn't even, it's not damaged. I thought I was going to find damage under here, but I could see the coolant right here. They have the pep top open up and they have the coolant drained out. And that's it on this. All right, guys, I'll see you later.